Dexter's Laboratory made its television debut as a short for Hanna-Barbera and later became a full TV show in 1996 on Cartoon Network. The TV movie Ego Trip that I will be reviewing today was intended to be a series finale for the show, airing December 10th in 1999. However, at the tail end of 2000, the show was renewed for another 2 seasons, and ending in 2003. Dexter's Lab was always a delight to watch as a kid, and watching this movie for the first time as a kid, I was in shock of how awesome it was. I always believed it to be one of the best, if not the best, TV movie of all time. And I want to see how it holds up today, and see if I'm just wearing nostalgia goggles watching this. And with how great I remember this being. I hold this up there with the Kids Next Door movie, the Regular Show movie, and if you want to talk modern day movies based off of TV shows, the Bob's Burger movie was phenomenal. And I hold it up there with those. Also, fun fact, this was the last piece of Dexter's Lab media to use traditional cell animation. It is also the last time Christine Cavanaugh reprises her role as Dexter, as she would be replaced for the last 2 seasons. But enough yapping. Hello everyone and welcome to my media center. My name is Kiefer and welcome to my review and retrospective on the Dexter's Laboratory movie, Ego Trip. Off-rip and nostalgia from the old Warner Brothers logo and seeing all the Hanna-Barbera and Cartoon Network characters in the movie theater, this is already a certified classic. But there are no nostalgia goggles needed here on this sick-ass intro to the movie, seeing Mandark in his supervillain gear leading us through the opening credits. This seriously is up there with the best opening credits to a movie ever. Especially with it being complemented with this score, the music is top tier. Now, onto the movie proper. Mandark sneaks aside while Dexter and Dee Dee's mom or dad are playing Twister, and the sexual tension here is wild. Mandark creepily spies on Dee Dee for a few seconds and goes back to sneaking into Dexter's lab. He's trying to steal the neuroatomic protocore Dexter invented. That is a hard word. Neuroatomic protocore. I'm gonna mess that up a lot in this script. He gets a hold of it when Dexter stops him and the two get into a fight. It's Blaster versus Wrench and Dexter beats him, kicking him out of the house. Mandark swears to rule the world and get the neuroatomic protocore one day. Dexter gets back to work and Dee Dee interrupts him, but Dexter kicks her out, and as she walks away, very sad and very somber, she walks into a time machine. And when she walks in, an army of tiny red robots walk out. They all stop in front of Dexter and say they're here to destroy the one who saved the future. And they grow giant and terrifying. Dexter freaks out for a few seconds, but then rips off his lab suit and equips his fighting gear. He chops the robots down one by one, and then hops into his mech. There are 3 left standing, but they are no match for his boy genius. Especially when he hopped into his mega mech. He gets very excited after the battle because he's the one who saved the future. And he wants to see how cool he is in the future. But he doesn't feel like waiting, so he hops into the time machine to find out. When he comes out of the other end, he is back in his lab, seemingly untouched. He runs into a family in his lab, but turns out in the future, this is this family's rec room, and they ask him for his number. He doesn't have one, and when the police get involved and Dexter's eye gets scanned, it turns out he does have a number, and he is taken to his workstation in a giant M-shaped building. We then catch up with the future Dexter, a very malnourished, skinny wimp of a man. He works and lives in this office, and his boss is Mandark. And the scene we're about to see play out is insane and crazy dark for a Cartoon Network movie. Dexter is stripped of his clothes and bound by his arms and legs. We cut to our Dexter being thrown into future Dexter's office, and on every TV in this cubicle, in this office, is displaying the public flogging of Dexter. Mandark pulls out an electric whip and whips Dexter like a mule. It is violent and disturbing and a great scene. I am in shock. This aired on TV, but it perfectly demonstrates the dynamic of Mandark and Dexter at this time. Dexter being nothing more than a whipping mule for Mandark, just like everyone else in this office. Also, at this point, I would be calling our Dexter just Dexter, and this future Dexter, Wimp Dexter. Got it? Good. Wimp Dexter is wheeled back to his office and meets Dexter. The Dexters freak out, and Dexter lambasts Wimp Dexter for being a wimp, for being beaten by Mandark. It is a verbal whipping to follow his physical one. Dexter finds the neuroatomic protocore and blueprints that go with it in Dexter's drawer, in Wimp Dexter's drawer, and Dexter gives Wimp Dexter a speech to bring him back to not being just a cog in the wheel, but a genius. The two run out of the building, but stupidly leave the neuroatomic protocore and his blueprints out. Mandark rushes from his office to the cubicle and steals the blueprints and Protocore. I'm sure that will have no repercussions.
Spoiler alert, it does, like, a lot.
The two Dexters go to the future to see what becomes of them, and this future is certainly different. They're in a museum of Dexter's lab. All his best inventions and even Mandark's brain in a jar are on display. A museum worker sees the two Dexters and bring him to what I will call Grandpa Dexter. And this is where the movie loses some steam. Up until now, it has been great, full of action and key character moments, A+ stuff. But now there's some boring comedy with Grandpa Dexter and slower pacing. Slow-paced media is not inherently bad at all, but this is, and it's bad comedy. Dexter's upset how old and forgetful Grandpa Dexter is, so they go back in time to see Dexter at his most butt-kicking and smartest. I will call him Muscle Dexter, for reasons that you will become aware of very soon. This future is grim. It's all destroyed and looks like the nukes dropped. The sky is red and full of despair. Dexter finds some civilization, but they're back in caveman times. Everyone has lost their minds and regressed mentally. Dexter shows them what fire is, and then the Overlord's robots come to destroy the village because starting a fire is illegal, and as well as all science. Just then, Muscle Dexter shows up and takes down the robots. This Dexter is jacked, bald, and has a sick beard. The movie picks up here again, the action being very, very well done. Dexter saves the village and gives the people fire. Dexter and Wimp Dexter are upset at the baldness, but there's nothing really you can do there. I'm balding, it's sad, but it's just something you gotta deal with. Muscle Dexter fills in on what happened in the future. Here's the lowdown. Mandark and Dexter worked for the same company, and Mandark stole Dexter's ideas and got promoted to the very top. Mandark then got a hold of the neuroatomic protocore, which is Dexter and Wimp Dexter's fault. Mandark uses the neuroatomic protocore and he went insane and mind controlled everyone. Dexter didn't get controlled because he dug underground, which is how he got all the muscles. Now Dexter is trying to save the world. All the Dexters go to the lab and create a plan to save the world. They all get wrenches and get to work. They build a robotic car transformer and it is pretty damn cool. I want this as a toy. And at the end of it all, they all share root beer. Totally not beer. To celebrate a job well done. They share a moment here and toast, and tomorrow they storm the castle. They arrive and Mandark sees them, so he comes up with a plan of his own. The journey up the castle is fierce, dodging lava and battling robots. They even get into a fight with a giant robot and lose some of their pieces, but win the fight and continue the treacherous journey. This scene is incredibly well done and very creative. I wish I could talk more about it, but I don't want to give away every little detail of this movie. I want you to watch it for yourself. The group barely makes it to the top in one piece, but they do. It's Dexter, Wimp Dexter, Grandpa Dexter, and Muscle Dexter against Mandark's plan. Mandark has brought past versions of Mandarks to the future for the fight of the century. We'll call them Mandark, Corporate Mandark, Brain Mandark, and Fat Mandark. It's time for the ultimate showdown. The battle begins with each Dexter fighting their respective Mandark. It's all even at first, but soon the Mandarks have the upper hand, even breaking Wimp Dexter's glasses. And that evil laugh alongside memories of the whipping bring Wimp Dexter the strength he needs to beat down Corporate Mandark. All the Dexters start to win here, turning the tide, and they reset the neuroatomic protocore. Mandark trip Dexters and Dexters trip Mandarks, and our Dexter almost presses the button to reverse the neuroatomic protocore's powers. And with cheering from all the other Dexters, he is about to press the button. He is about to press it when Dee Dee shows up out of the time machine and presses the button before Dexter could, saving the future. She then walks away back home. Dee Dee is the one to save the future and everyone is saved, and the Dexters are pissed. Mandark's castle falls, and out of their anger, the Dexters build the red robots from earlier and sends them to attack the one who saved the future, creating a time loop. And that is the Dexter's Lab movie, Ego Trip. This movie is really good. Not as good as I remember it, but it holds up quite well here in 2025. Over 25 years later. There's some low points. I don't find Grandpa Dexter very funny, but the action rules. Most of the comedy is great, the music is top tier, and the character designs and backgrounds are also top tier stuff. I can easily recommend you watch this movie. It is not hard to find. My favorite parts of the movie is the public vlogging of Dexter and the ascent and battles of Mandark's castle. Originally intended to be a series finale, I can say this would be a cool ending, but I much prefer Season 2, Episode 39 as a series finale, which, yes, this show is much like Futurama, it has had a few different finales over the years. I plan to cover this episode at some point because the episode Last But Not Beast is awesome. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Click the links in the description, follow my socials, follow my Twitch, like, comment, subscribe, ding the bell, do all the YouTube stuff. I hope to see you all in the next video, but don't forget to stay hydrated.